going on?
Well,
they've renamed
Guess
the
what?
boat.
July. Can you please start over? Because we just started over.
hello. So,
We are back.
and we have had a host of technical difficulties. We would like to say thank you to everybody that's hanging in there with us. We apologize, and keep in mind that today we are talking about a much more serious topic than we usually do, but this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. We're not therapists, psychologists, or any or psychiatrists, if you will. So again, this is for entertainment purposes only. But today we are talking about the issues that we're having here in Chicago with crime. And we are really trying to figure out what's going on. Where's it coming from? How can it be stopped? People out there that are watching, if you have something to say, please let us know in the comments, whether it's opinion or you might have an ironclad solution. We don't care. Just let us know.
Yeah, and please, if you could not point fingers and come with a solution, we know what the problem is. We need a solution now.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that
People out there
there's.
that are watching,
I don't really feel like
if you have something to
anybody.
say,
Well,
please
maybe they do, but I don't. Anybody's really like, I'm just gonna be a gangbanger and cause havoc every day. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just your surroundings, your environment, and also the company you keep. So it's another thing. Um, the company you keep, like choosing your friends, and you, like you said, your spidey senses, your body will let you know that danger is afoot. Like we need to start paying attention to ourselves. That's another part of checking ourselves. Like stop ignoring things to be cool or to be pleasant, or you don't want to ruffle any feathers or hurt anybody's feelings.
Waves. You gotta make waves sometimes.
Yeah, like seriously. Like I don't want to be anywhere where there's danger. Especially when I'm sitting, I'm like, this looks like it's about to go down. But you know what? This is some great food and the music is good. I'm just gonna sit here and have a great old. And when there's an argument over here, there's commotion over here, and who are those people? No, I think now as soon as I hear aggressive talking or somebody getting too loud, I'm okay.
It's check, please.
Yeah, let me
check, please. It's absolutely check, please.
Ma'am.
Yeah, I can't be here any further. It would make no sense for me to be caught in such mayhem, and I am such a delicious person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who wants that shit over there?
Because brown sugar melts in chaos. That's what I heard.
It freaking does.
Yes.
I tell you, it melts.
I ain't got time.
But I still want to hear from people. What is it that we can do collectively to stop all this senseless violence? It's very nerve-wracking. Are we never going to be able to kick it again? I mean, does everything have to come with a warning?
Everything gonna have to be secluded.
Are we? Are we going to be in our houses gaining weight and playing video games and watching TV? Can't go out.
Because who all gonna be there or who all over there is very very prevalent.
Man, you got to know your surroundings. Could it be a bloodbath or could it just be a rain shower? I don't know. It's still all dangerous here in Chicago. It really is. It needs to cease because we are all in danger. Every last one of us. And those who want to turn an eye to it, it's coming to you too. It's not just on the south side. It's not just on the west side. The north side and downtown is getting it.
Yeah.
Y'all getting it. So we better start working together and come with solutions. And I just don't think that curfews are gonna do anything. I really don't. It's a curfew, and people make a decision. If they want to do something terrible, they're gonna go do something terrible.
Yeah.
We just have to try to stop them before they go and do something terrible. And a lot of that takes being an example for the people around you too. If you are on BS, guess what the people around you are gonna be on? If you are on positive messages and positive business, they're gonna emulate that too. People emulate positivity before they emulate negativity. So why would you even put negative anything in front of them? Because that's what they're gonna grab onto because you haven't shown them the positive yet. And We need a lot more positive because we keep getting a lot of no's when we need to hear yeses when it comes to people's safety and health and finances and just everything that we humanly need in order to live just a normal life. We hear so many no's with redlining still and community politics still that a lot of it we're losing the fight just to relax. We really are. And I'm going to stop that. I want to help stop that. But I can only stop what I know is going on.
Right.
Like, I can't run to it from a bomb if I don't know where it is. You got to let people know what's up. Like, let them know what you need. Like, let them know what's happening, or your silence is violence too if you don't speak up. And I don't mean tricking on people, but just like being a friend to a friend or talking to somebody that they don't really need to go down a path they're going, because it's not going to lead them the way that they feel that they're going to be successful or it's going to end in a positive outcome. We really need to start speaking up to each other for each other.
Yeah.
And that looks different for everybody.
It does.
Whatever the situation is. If you're a young lady and you got a friend that's doing things that are, way beyond her age, messing with older dudes, putting herself in unsafe situations, that's your duty as a friend. Hey, I don't think this is smart. You know what I'm saying? If you're, whatever the situation is, if you're somebody that's around people, like she was saying, that are doing negative things, speak up, speak your piece. And if they still choose to continue on with that activity, then you remove yourself from the situation.
Right, excuse yourself.
Yeah, don't just stand there and deal with whatever it is, or keep going back to be a party to whatever that is. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Don't be reactive to somebody else's anger. If somebody is so upset about something, you go ahead and do it yourself. I ain't finna be a part of that. I don't want you to do it, but I ain't finna do it with you.
And take heed if you see somebody that is really doing clown shit. Like the way they treat other people is very terrible. Like they're spiraling. Don't think that because of your relationship with that person, they may not do the same thing to you.
Oh, it's a matter of time when it's coming to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be the next target.
Yeah.
Them today, you tomorrow. That's time and time again. That's come up.
Yeah.
Time and time again.
And consequences.
Damn, why we gotta go through all that?
Word. Man. Consequences are very real. If you play with fire, you already know. Burns is not far behind. And
let me ask y'all something.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Speak out.
Let me ask y'all something. Now, y'all offering all these solutions. Now, how do you tell a YN or a young lady who just jumped off the porch into to the street to watch the company they keep, when no one has ever taught them that, you know what I'm saying, before they jumped off the porch?
I would make the best effort to do just that, literally. I mean, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I'd be very mindful of the way I'm saying it. But like, I need the person to understand that I'm not just saying words. I'm being very serious about what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I need you to listen to what I'm saying because blah, blah, blah. And I feel like if you got examples of what you're trying to say, like to be specific, if it's somebody that jumped off the porch and they are involved with real active people, right? And you see potential in them or whatever the case may be, I'd be like, you see that so-and-so was hanging with whoever and look what happened to them. Look how many people have passed away. Look how many people are in prison. They're all still here in this environment that everybody's trying to get out of. So, I mean, do you think you're going to have a different outcome from those same actions? Like, what if you do this differently or whatever? And, you try to lead by example and, offer alternatives and provide information, resources.
Absolutely. And you did make a good point showing them that it hasn't worked for somebody so far. I mean, there are institutions being built to hold all y'all who want to do something out of pocket. Even those who ain't doing nothing out of pocket. There are institutions that are being built just for you to be put into.
It don't take much.
It really don't take much to get us in there. It really don't. They make laws up just to get us in there. Why would you even want to put yourself in that predicament? Why would you want to give the embarrassment to your family that you did something to somebody that you can't take back? Control your emotions. Control. A lot of the control that we have is within ourselves. It's not, unless we just gave up and just like, I ain't gonna never get out of it, because it is everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere, but the choice is yours on how you move through these streets. It really is. And if you are moving off your emotions,
it's a catalyst for a really, really, really negative explosion, for real. Because
basically, yeah.
it's irrational, and I mean, what could come of that? Like if you can even sit and think about some of the things that you've lost your shit. They had an argument with a dude over something very petty. So let's say he called you a bitch or something like that because y'all had an argument, right? So what? He made you upset. He made you cry. All he did was call you a name, right? So you call your big brother, your cousin, or whoever and tell them what happened. Now you've activated the situation off of that. So now they're looking for him. You know what I'm saying? Let's say he gets killed, and now you've got his family has lost somebody. You got to deal with the trauma behind that. You know what I'm saying? And all the different things, like domino effects. But like using your head, like, okay, we got into it. He called me a name. All right, no one got hurt. So what? Maybe I shouldn't be with this dude if this is how he reacts when we have words with each other. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I need to check myself for whatever I did that cause him to call me that. Whatever you want to call it. Like, there's a lot of space in between him calling you the name and you activating the situation. If you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it also is the activant too. Why are you, cousin and brother, getting ready to go and possibly spank somebody because your sister got called a bitch?
Mm-hmm.
Is it to that degree yet? Is it a gun to her head, or did she just get into a tiff? Why are you putting more heat under it? You got to think about that too. Everybody has to take responsibility for their actions.
Yeah, but she, and the woman that was doing the interview, what she was saying was, those people, the ones that were activated, they're who they are, and you know who they are, and that was the reason why you called them. But the point is that the role that you play in that situation is you ain't have to make that call. Why didn't you stop there and say, okay, why am I in this position? Is it that I just don't need to be with this dude no more? You know what I'm saying? I need to pick better, for myself. And there were so many other things that could have been done other than activate the situation that you knew would be active as soon, because they were waiting for something like that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many people, what they say, there's some people that just want to watch the world burn. So many people that are just waiting for that type of stuff to happen. And that happens all the time though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people that that young people just sometimes do not understand that these are temporary emotions. You know what I'm saying? You're not even gonna be mad about this later on tonight. So why do that? Because now the situation has gotten extremely permanent.
Because I swear I feel that the generation is so sensitive, and they are so self-serving that they're wanting to please their id as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
As quickly as possible, just to get that itch met. They want to do things impulsively.
Mm-hmm.
And that impulse can lead to the explosion that you're speaking of. And it goes way back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Keeping yourself in check and knowing when you gotta check your surroundings, so that you stay in check. Because things can become out of check. Unchecked very, very quickly. And it has nothing to do with you. And you know when the wrong side of the street that you shouldn't be walking on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody over the age of 12 knows when I say that. You know what the street looks like that you're going to be crossing, or that you're going to be walking along. You know what it looks like.
What do you think the obligation is to older people or elder statesmen, let's say just within gang culture or within the music industry or anything like, or entertainment? What do you, is there any accountability?
It's their
What is the responsibility of that?
Well, there's danger in it because just because so and so is an OG, literally, right?
They say that the young kids won't listen.
No, they won't. So that's like let's use Larry Hoover for example. You have a generation of people that still respect him, but then you have a generation of people that do not. Like they're, you know what I'm saying? We built this on top of what you built, and we don't care. Like they're disconnected, and they literally don't. They're disconnected, and they literally don't care. And there's a couple here and there that will listen, but that's only out of respect. Like, okay, I'm gonna hear you out, but nah. And they'll even say like, nah, everybody else ain't going.
I saw a cat who did about 35 years speak to a room full of gentlemen. They were all from the streets. And they listened to him. They all listened to him. You can see in their faces that they was understanding wholeheartedly what he meant. And it looked like a lot of them wanted to walk out that room because they knew what he was saying was right. We underestimate letting our OGs talk, especially from experience. Because a lot of times they say just the right words to get their attention and to keep them from going down a path that took a lot of them, and we'll say 35 years of their life away. Think about that. Think about that. 35 years. And that's the time they're giving us. Everybody don't get the time frames that black and brown people get
No,
in the justice system.
they don't.
They don't get it. We get it seems like the maximum time is 30. The maximum time
Minimum.
the minimum is our maximum. Like
Yeah.
our minimum is 35 years. Though they wanted to give us 85 years, we still a lifetime.
But then
I want to live my lifetime.
when you were talking about the guy that had did the 35 years and he was talking to the youth, and you said that it looked like they were receptive to it.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of times they are receptive to things, but it's like when they get out back in their habitats, if you will,
they fall back into place.
But it's because it's like to buck against the masses can be dangerous in a lot of ways, and it's like what am I supposed to do, because I don't really have examples of people who are successful that have done the opposite, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times too, one of the really sad realities of it is sometimes prison and incarceration is not the scariest thing that can happen to them, and they know that. So it's like, I ain't scared to go to jail. I'm not scared of interaction with the police.
That's the thing. Y'all, I think a lot of y'all are looking at the interaction with the police when it's somebody else's interaction with the police. You don't know what your interaction is going to be with the police. What you see on television or what you see on the internet is a glimpse of what is going down. To see what's going down, why would you even want to see what's going down? Why would you even want to put yourself in a position that you could never have a regular life again? Be stuck somewhere where you can't get no air. You can't get any sunshine. You can't go where you want to. You're wearing what they're telling you to wear. You're doing what they're telling you to do.
Which you don't want to do anyway.
Which you don't want to do anyway.
That's the reason why you more than likely ended up there, because you didn't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that people can see on social media, like examples.
Right.
There was a video that was going around of a grandmother. She went to like a local precinct or whatever. Her grandson had gotten picked up, and she came down there. They let her in there to talk to him, and they had him in in one of the meeting rooms or whatever. And she wanted to give him a hug, and she was talking to him about she was real as hell. She was like, couldn't nobody tell you nothing. All them times we try to tell you to watch the company you keep, and you were so disrespectful. You weren't trying to hear nothing that we said,
Right.
And now you in this position where we can't do nothing for you. And she was like, if some kind of way you get out of this situation, and she was real careful not to say anything to further implicate her grandchild. But she was like, if you find your way out of this situation, I hope I hope you pray and you value your life. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody could do nothing with you. That's how you wound up here. You know, and you saying you ain't had nothing to do with it, but you in here. You know what I'm saying? He was like in a car with some people. Somebody got shot, I think. And it was just like, for what? Because you were supposed to be in school. How in the hell did you wind up in the car with these people in the first damn place? You know? And it's like these split second decisions lead to the most permanent outcomes. But again, if your reality is that prison or incarceration is not the scariest thing that can happen to you, I think your outlook on life is very different.
It is, it's a free for all for you. Basically, if you think you got enough friends there to kick it, that's a problem. It's a real problem.
Yeah,
You got enough friends in prison that you'll be all right.
And then I wonder too if the tone is safer, because the likelihood of being shot while incarcerated is a lot less than on the outside.
Absolutely.
There's other things that will put you in harm's way.
It is not safe.
It's definitely not safe, but it's a different type of environment. The tone,
what that is that I can tell you right now that they're not ready for that environment.
Oh, probably.
If you can't, one of the biggest things in prison and even jail, the biggest thing is your integrity, your character, what you stand on, and what you don't stand on.
Half these people are too young to even establish that.
When they don't understand what that is, because just a quick story, I was locked up. It was in the penitentiary, and I asked to borrow a spork. You get them from the cafeteria. Everybody has them. I just didn't have one, so I didn't even ask to borrow. I said, "Can I have no?" I said, "Can I borrow a spork?" And the guy says, "Yeah." It gives me the spork. 3 days goes by. He comes back in, and he's pissed. And the key was that I said borrow, not can I have one. He wanted his motherfucking spork back, and that shit was enough to make him angry and piss him off because I was not. I said borrow. It means I'm going to return it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, as silly as that may seem, that lends to real consequences in prison. So if you can't make conscious decisions out on the street, you are definitely not prepared for what these dudes will do for the smallest infraction.
What happened when you didn't have
I got that motherfucker his goddamn sport immediately. And apologized and was very clear right after that exactly how I spoke to people and what I meant whenever I said it. Because the consequences of those would be he was cool enough to actually give me some advice and let me know what it is that I said wrong and how it could have turned out. And to make sure that I didn't do that another time with someone else, because it wouldn't have turned out, how I would have expected it.
Now, but did he say that to you when you were upside down hanging from the bars?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. Not at all. He was somebody who had actually spoke to me beforehand, and just wondering why I was even there. I was, all this other shit like that, and like just seeing what kind of person I was, and he liked me, like not in a weird way, but he was just like, you're actually a decent person. You shouldn't be here, type shit. So it was a moment. It was a teachable moment for him to me. The way he saw it, to make sure that I was on my P's and Q's. So when it was time for me to go home, I never fucking come back. That shit. If that makes any sense, but yeah.
Consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what it really boils down to.
Yes, what it all boils down to. Respect and consequences.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to ask y'all a question. This is for everybody. Was there any? Do y'all feel like was there anything that Mellow Bucks could have done different to make that night different?
I think that without pointing fingers like Ange had said earlier, or even like really pointing out the obvious, which is the gang implications and things of that nature. Like, people have to be mindful that type of shit will follow you. You know what I'm saying? And no matter where you go in Chicago, there's been so many different examples of situations that spill outside of the communities. When you're going downtown, up north, suburbs, wherever, if somebody wants you, they want you. Yep. You know what I mean? And then the thing that it seems that is being done a lot is the poking of the bear, like we talked about earlier. Like if somebody is passed away because of a situation, there's at no point it doesn't make sense to make fun of it or bring it up in a disrespectful way. Or if that's a rival set, why are you even speaking on it? You know what I'm saying? Don't bring that kind of energy around your situation. Like if you're getting out of that lifestyle because you're rapping, you're opening up your horizons, you're going different places, you're seeing different things, you're making money now, just keep that same energy, progress, move forward, do whatever you need to do to change your situation, but don't keep dipping back because it's just like, oh, you remember me, hey, I'm over here, you go do something good, remember me, I'm over here, and then when the person's like, oh, you keep calling me, here I am, then what?
Yeah. Can't have one foot in the booth and one foot in the street.
Come on now.
Yeah, I think that you just like playing a game of cards. You call the spirits that you want. You absolutely call the spirits that you want. And when I listen to Mello's music, no disrespect, I think she got flow. She's flowing about things that are not gonna bring about the right people all the time.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bring about the right situation. And if you got eyes on you because you're doing something good with your crafts, you have to step out of where you were to get to where you wanted to go. Or is it that she wanted to stay in the hood and just be good with the notoriety?
And I think that's a lot of what is happening because it's like we're around our peers all the time. This is our community. This is where we want to be. We want to make our community and our individual situations better. So it's like in the music, they're speaking to each other because they speak that language. You know what I mean? And then when things happen with rival factions or whatever, that makes it into the music too because they're talking to each other. But it's like I'm not. Maybe I do want to get outside of the community because I'm sick of it, but at the same time, I'm not thinking beyond that because this is where I am right now. And again, these are the people that I'm talking to. These are still the people that I'm around. And then there's always that everybody can't go. I feel like people who are engulfed in that type of thing, all the homies, you want them to come with you. She just did a blog, and one of her friends was there at the beginning part, but she had to go to work. She paid her manager $25 to let her leave early so she can come back and continue on with the interview that they was doing because they were going around the hood. She was cooking dinner for the people. They went to the studio. They met with her engineer. And you got to see like some of the positive things that are going on. But then they left the studio and they went back to the hood, and it was like 5 or 6 dudes. There was one that had just came home from jail. There's a couple of them that their faces were like blurred out or whatever. And it's just like there's always gonna be positive and there's always gonna be negative, but those negative things sometimes are just way more permanent than we need them to be. You know what I'm saying? I just really wish that people would just think about the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not good to dip back. On Unwrap, we ask this question all the time to the different artists that come on the show about when people become successful, they leave here. And it's like we have the answer. It varies. You know what I'm saying? But like we know what's going on and we know why a lot of people leave and they don't come back. But it's like it's a gift and a curse here. There's so much great things here, but then there's that, you know?
It's that invisible red tape. That red tape. That red tape that can make or break you. But you gotta ask yourself, what do you want out of your life? If you don't want anything, God damn it, it's exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're gonna get. But we gotta give each other a chance to even live because it ain't happening. And the first thing we will start is with ourselves and what comes out of our mouths and what type of energy we get off, like you said. And if you were calling for crows, they gonna be listening. If you calling for evil, it's gonna show up. And if you are being disrespectful to people, they will pull your card. Every single, this is Chi-Town. This is how we get down.
Yeah.
And people really need to take that in consideration. Even if you were born in the 2000s, if you don't know by now how Chicago gets down, then you really ain't in Chicago. You must be somewhere in the outskirts,
Yeah.
claiming that you from the Chi when it's when everybody's hollering out where you from, but actually you from like
Bolingbrook.
yeah Bolingbrook, or you're from
Evanston.
Darien or someplace. Evanston. I'll let Evanston slide just a little bit because they're so close. But if you ain't walking distance of the city limits, you don't claim us because we ain't gonna claim you.
Mm-mm.
We ain't gonna claim you. So keep your honor to your honor.
And clout is such a
Fleeting thing.
yeah,
It
like
really is.
it's people crave it. They need it. It's just terrible. And it's like, at what cost? You know?
And to the person who did the actual drive-by, how do you feel now?
Like, was it worth
Are
it?
you still mad?
Yeah.
Are you still mad? Can you say to yourself, I made a mistake? Can you really say that right now? I needed to wait before I acted on my emotions.
Yeah.
Was it serious? Was it that serious that I had to go do that?
Right.
You destroyed so many families, so many lives, so many futures that we probably that we wouldn't have enjoyed. You don't know who you killed. It could have been the next Messiah's great grandfather you killed. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're so great of a people. You don't know who you destroying when you destroy us.
We all go through things,
We do.
in life. You never stop learning. And any one of those young men could have been truly the grandfather of somebody great, or themselves.
Or two mothers
Yep.
of the some of the greatest that could have been born, or it could have been them,
Yep.
and you killed them.
And then this whole thing with these things happening to people, and then they get on various different social media platforms, and then um, speak about whatever it was that happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you are taking a life for the sake of posting cryptic messages, what are we doing? Like, if that's all it is, that's even more scary, because it's like, what? Now that is some video game shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people are so desensitized, and again, we go back to the respect for life. Is This is what they're living for, this online universe of people thinking that they're cool, and followers and likes and craziness. Like, there's the biggest rabbit hole that one can go down with some of the crazy stuff that happens to people. We seen something where this was a situation in Vegas where there was some YouTube celebrities that got into it about some crazy shit, and one of them was way more about that life than the other one, and he killed them because they were like making fun of him for something. Like, there are people out here in this world that it's nothing to them to take a life, and the rest of us are existing in the space amongst these people. And I think that the only thing that we can do is pour positivity into our children, continue to check ourselves, you know what I mean, and do our best to be productive citizens and not to add to that's going on.
Right, and not only pour positivity into the children, pour the positivity into these adults.
Word.
Because they need it just as well. They're just as harmed because they weren't healed as the children are. And that means we got to start being better to each other and give each other more grace. I've been talking about grace a lot lately.
Because
And I
it's
never
necessary.
really knew what that word meant until I started seeing tragedy and hearing both sides of the story and looking at a story in its entirety, or hearing something in its entirety.
And all the things that unfold in your head when you hear it.
Yeah.
Because we all hear different things when we hear these stories. We're all focused on different things. Like, the person, the victim, you know what I'm saying? The person that caused whatever the issue was, the family of the victim, the people that were around it that saw it, the person reporting it, and then if it's on the news, how we feel when we're watching it, like our sense of safety, our foundation is shaken. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, the first thing I think of, it's comfort. It's a just a small piece of comfort to me when I'm like, okay, was this an isolated situation or was it like deliberate? Like with those expressway shootings. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I always think like, was it somebody in a car just driving and they were like, I'm gonna kill somebody right now? Or did they see somebody that they were looking for? Neither situation is good,
Right.
but it's like, this is where we are now. That one is a little bit more comforting than the other. But like from a grace standpoint, we have to give it and consume it. That's the only way to function as a positive individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, because otherwise, a traffic situation, somebody try to cut you off, or they trying to bogart you, or whatever, or somebody's speeding too close to you, and y'all are all going to the stop sign, or let's say somebody hits you on accident. It's an accident. How you react to those type of situations, you know what I'm saying? Grace it needs to be all up and through there, because if not, I mean, it's the makings of a news story.
It is. It is. It's the making of news stories, the making of super villain, is the making of tragedy. We need, as adults, as young adults, as people, to check ourselves. We're not checking ourselves like we should. We're not checking our attitudes at the door. We're not bleeding all over somebody else because somebody else hurt us. We have to be, we have to have a more respect for each other and know when to be like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
We got to know when something is a whatever situation.
Yeah.
It really do.
Because walking away can be the difference.
It could be. And yes, I do agree to an extent in which you say where ladies need to have some accountability when you bring other people into your drama, especially when you bring other men into your drama that you're having a problem with your significant other if they are also male. That is a very dangerous situation, because who's to say that in the situation that you explained to us, that because they came to him, that he didn't kill them both.
Right. And then, we've all had situations with, loved ones, family members, just people we know, you've heard stories where somebody is getting abused by somebody. They're calling their male family members, they're calling the police, whatever. Everybody's trying to intervene in the situation to make sure this person's safe. And then when they de-escalate the one occurrence, they go right back. It just keeps happening. And eventually it's like the boy who cried wolf.
Right.
But then who's to say that time when everybody's like, you know what, I just can't go over there not one more time because whatever, then something really bad happens. And that just goes back to making better decisions, personally. Like, as a woman, if you're in a relationship with somebody that when they get really angry, they lash out and they do violent things, like they can't control their emotions and their temper, then number one, that person needs to get help. But you need to make sure that you're safe. Encourage that person to get help, to get the help they need to help them get that situation together. But you gotta love yourself first and be like, okay, you know what? We gotta let this situation breathe, because I can't help nobody if I ain't safe. You know what I'm saying? And then, sometimes we feel like we give up on people when we decide, you know what, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? But we have to learn how to advocate for ourselves and protect ourselves the way we sometimes protect other people.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, most people have that where they put everybody before them, but there's just a lot of situations where that's not what to do.
It isn't. And so responsibility is what we were talking about today. Respect for one another is what we were talking about today. Speaking your world into existence is what we talked about today. These are all important instances that can give us a better overall life.
Mm-hmm.
And being the adult in a situation that is obviously childish, even if it's two adults at each other over something little, just go ahead and be the adult in the situation.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be. Just to just to lay it to rest. Because some things don't need to be resurrected. Some things you really just need to lay to rest. But have an understanding with the people that you are needing to also allow to the situation to rest with as well. Because you could be cool on something, but somebody else isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Get a better understanding with the people around you and their activities, because nobody knew that something was being said in an aha type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew that. So somebody just going to Mello's event, leaving out thinking, I had a good time. Had no idea that they was going to get shot on their way out.
Yeah.
Because nothing happened on the inside. Everything, it was over. If I'm not mistaken, it was already over.
It was winding down, yeah.
Yes, and people were leaving. No, we were at the Sub T in Chicago for 30 years almost, kicking it outside. There were conflicts in there as well sometimes. People got kicked out. But nobody came back and shot the place up for 30 years. We're on here saying something about this because we're concerned about our people here in Chicago. Because our nightlife, we hold very dearly in our lives.
And
we hold even more dear.
And it's few and far between at this point compared to how it used to be.
Yes. And so we're concerned about your safety, our city, our people, our loved ones, and you. That's why we're talking about it. You're probably thinking, y'all ain't got nothing to do with it. We actually do have something to do with it. What we made as an example was for the people who are younger than us. We were the example for what they see. So if we showed them bullshit, they gonna do bullshit. You gotta keep that in mind too. You are the example for the people behind you. And if you're not showing them something to look up to, you're showing them something to look down at.
And it will eventually spill over into what you got going on anyway. And you know, in some kind of way. Because like, you know, people used to say all the time, even if you move into, let's say, like a bad neighborhood, as long as you keep to yourself, should be all right. You ain't in their business no way. But it's, yeah, you know, because you could be walking to the bus stop, you could be going to your car to go to work or to the grocery store or taking the garbage out or on the back porch having a smoke, whatever it is that you're doing. And
environment.
You know, some things can go down. It's just, I don't know. It's very disheartening. It really is. You know, it's so early in July and it's just like, wow, you know, just a big ass wow.
And this is just the 5th of July. We didn't had some mass shootings, multiple. This is Saturday. By the time this show is aired after we complete it and up, I would not say that I wouldn't be surprised that if we turn on the news that there's another mass event.
Yeah, and then even if the mass situations are you know didn't exist, you know, there's always just shootings in general. Like, come on, man, we gotta cut. We just, and then some of these situations are retaliate. Like, let's say retaliations like 10 times removed. You know, at this point, we're not even really sure what you're retaliating against. You know what I'm saying? It's inherited beef in situations. It's just, you know, I just love and grace, you know what I'm saying? And just enjoy each other, enjoy the city. This is a beautiful fucking city. There's so much delicious food. Like, let's focus on that. It is the summer. And it's so much real shit going on in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? That
needs your attention more than a drive-by.
For real.
Than gang business. Life business. We need you to show up. Because the death business you showing up for is also very lucrative, and we don't need you to be there.
Yeah, and it's like you're giving your life for what? Because literally, the world continues. Your family, your family is torn apart, and nothing really stopped except you tore your family apart. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the person that did it versus the victim, and woo out to bam. It's just it's a bad situation all the way around. Just no.
Yeah.
Hell
Focus
no.
up on your love for yourself and everything around you. Focus up on it. because it needs some attention. That's everybody out there. Make sure your love is in order for yourself, for your people, for your surroundings, and for others.
Yeah. And being residents of the city of Chicago, when you feel like something is not safe or there's an area that you know that's not safe, don't go.
Just do yourself a favor.
Yeah, for real. Like, because at this point, the elements, they're gonna show themselves. You know what I'm saying? And just always err on the side of safety, because that's just what we need to do. Aztec, hola. I love you for talking about this.
Thank you for being or at least listening to what we have to say. So
Yes.
you can take it on to the next bunch of people that you are going to be with, because the more we can spread this message to other people, it catches on, and we can make some fucking differences out there.
Yeah,
We ain't necessarily got to be saying, doing music, but we can just saying the right words. Thank you, Shadow.
Shout out to Shadow Master MC. You two bitches better drop them jewels. And speaking of two hip hop powerhouses, those of us who are fans of the culture, teach the youth how to embrace the culture. Like, introduce them to music that you used to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, show them something different. They might, find a different angle. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're attracted to drill because that's what they know, because one of their friends told them about it. And if that's what you want to listen to, then that's fine. But my thing is, expand your horizons. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want our culture and hip hop to be forgotten. They're already trying to erase Black history and Black and brown history. Let's not let that shit be lost as well. Like,
Right.
let's usher each other into the culture properly. Like, give the youth something to speak about.
And if we could please remind them that this was the alternative to the streets. Hip hop was the alternative to what was going on in these streets.
Your viewers are going up right now, so
And-
you guys are feeling like you want to stop now, but
I don't know. Well, I think if we need to, if we can get some dialogue out there, yeah, because we've been talking, for the longest. If we can get some words of encouragement out there from the people who are viewing, I think that would be great. I mean, because hearing it from your mama is one way, but hearing it from your daddy is the other, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So,
the big homies and all and all that kind of
you
stuff.
don't listen to us, but you listen to them. So.
listen to them two bitches.
Oh yeah, I'll listen to my mama before I listen to them. But yeah, I listen to them two bitches before I listen to my mama. So go ahead.
And that's how normally it is. They'll listen to the outside people before they listen to their own people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's only because they own people probably wasn't listening to them or paying attention to them when they was a shorty.
Well, some would say that
That's
it
word.
starts at home.
Yeah.
So some people say that. Some people say that. Well, remember. Some of us can remember a time when they used to say there was babies having babies, but it's still that has never changed.
That shit.
That's a common human trait.
Yeah.
Having children at a very young age. That is nothing new. That humans have been doing that since the beginning of humans being human.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? That may have been happening since the beginning of humans being human, but at some fucking point, I think we need to realize that just because they sexy don't mean they're gonna be a good parent. And then I'm sorry, but if I'm in a relationship with somebody that doesn't respect me, or they're abusive or whatever, I don't need to procreate with this person, because how the fuck is that gonna look? You know what I'm saying? Just the possibility of that not being a good thing is kind of high. I hate that YN shit makes it easy for whatever that is to call. Okay. Oh, okay. Call our youth. Yes. But then I just, like, sometimes I feel like people are not prepared for everything that comes with being a parent. If you have a kid, that makes you a parent, and it's your job to make sure that kid becomes a productive citizen.
This is very true.
But if you're not looking at it, so let's say, okay, there's a difference between I'm in a healthy situation and I want to have a kid, right? And I fucked and I got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Those two things can look very different. So if there's more of the latter, then sometimes we have these kids that we're bringing into the world, but there's nobody there to do anything with them. They just grow up, and the only the only watering the seed gets is what they might find from somebody like a teacher in the school that cares, you know,
Oh,
or somebody
grandma.
at a community center, or maybe grandparents or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is a lot. Hey, y'all, love y'all. I agree that we need to embrace the younger culture and have more of us step up as leaders. Yes, absolutely. But like,
Each one teach one.
if you're young, find some other shit to do besides fuck.
That is so easy to say, old bitch.
I know.
Because,
I know.
because young people are like that right now. You can say that all day. Is give us something to do is what they probably want to say. Give us some place to go where we can kick it too, and not be fucked with while we outside kicking and trying to chill with our friends.
Yeah.
Do you think some of this is a cry for help?
It's absolutely
Hell
a
yeah.
cry for help.
Yeah.
If you had something else to do, would you go do a drive by?
Who, me? Oh,
I'm just saying,
definitely.
yeah, right. If I had
I wouldn't be
something
doing
else,
the drive-by,
I wouldn't
but
be right. If I had something else to do, I wouldn't even worry about doing no drive by. That's the
No.
alternative.
I think
Nothing
that's
or
weird as hell.
drive-by.
Right. Like,
I'm doing nothing.
well, I was gonna watch Sanford and Son, but you know what?
I'm gonna go ahead and do this drive by.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is that all about?
No, you can't have that happen. But you gotta make better decisions. I keep saying, and I'll say this to the day I die. By the age of 12 years old, you know right from wrong. You make your own decisions, just like you would make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You put those two together and you make it work. And then you got to do the same thing for your life. You got to put common sense and work ethics together to make it work.
It's as simple as picking which video to click on.
Yeah, but we just a lot of times don't click on the right video because we just want to see what happened.
Yep.
What could possibly go wrong?
I feel like if I think about myself when I was younger, when I see commercials for like Faces of Death, right? And I'd be like, oh, what the fuck is that? You know, but it's like now, what the fuck? All we gotta do is Google some shit. You know what I'm saying? And everything that's on there, it's right at your fingertips. And I feel like
with that being said, I'd like to pose this question.
Okay.
What were your thoughts immediately when you saw the footage of what happened Thursday night?
I thought I was dreaming. Because I was coming up out of a drunken stupor anyway. And I looked up at the TV I had on YouTube, and it was a live post, and it said mass shooting. And I was like, why does that look like Chicago? So I clicked onto it. And then as it was going, I'm thinking, is this real? And I kept trying to rewind it. I'm like, well, damn, it says it's live. So I guess this is happening right now. And I tried to look around to see if there was any other news source that picked up on this tragedy
get
happening.
some more info.
And but I didn't see anything. So when I finally did really wake up the next day, and I'm like, man, this is what was man, come on. Really? What happened at this party that happened?
Mm-hmm.
I've never in my Black life heard of a listening party having a mass shooting happening at it. A concert, yeah, stampede. Maybe somebody gets stabbed. But a listening party, the music ain't even came out yet.
In River North.
In a good neighborhood. And come on, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it really that serious to do?
My first thought was, damn, Mello. And then my second one was, I noticed the police interaction. I swear that irritated the shit.
It's been irritating.
That irritated the fuck out of me because like there's a self-perpetrated gap in communication with the younger generation and the OGs merely because we don't want to be bothered with disrespect. Absolutely. But yeah. So my thing was with the police interaction, like, is this because of where they are? Because I'm telling you, 79th and Essex, the exact same shit goes down, except they're not coming out of a restaurant. They're coming out of somebody's auntie house having a barbecue. So it goes down, somebody gets shot, anybody calls 911 or whatever, and then the police show up. What happens when they show up? How's the situation handled? Have you ever heard of anything going down in a hood where the ambulances are taking too long, so the police officers are picking people up and taking them to the hospital in their vehicles? Have you ever seen that happen?
I've never been a part of a mass shooting.
But I'm saying on the news. or whatever.
No, I hear of ambulances showing up to try to pick up people and try to help in the situation. But I've never heard of the police taking it upon themselves to try to save the lives of the people who were shot.
Yeah.
Which I think is absolutely commendable.
Yes.
Commendable.
Amen.
And I understand what you're saying, but they don't do that in our neighborhoods.
And
they only do it where the money is higher.
Yes, and that is something that about this city. I feel like the people who are born and raised in Chicago, we're a different breed of people. And no matter where we go, that will always shine out of us because we come. The city is segregated, number one, and we celebrate that because you can go here and get delicious Greek food. You can go here and blah blah blah. But there's other things that come with that, and it's ingrained in us to almost understand despair. You know what I mean? And then we condition ourselves to just deal with this type of shit, you know? But I just need somebody to explain to me why, because I live here, is my life less valuable than anybody else's. You know what I'm saying? If I have an emergency, why is it not being responded to? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can only give you a very honest and very stupid answer. It would be very honest and very stupid.
Bring it on.
I don't want to give it to you because you guys know what that answer is.
Yeah, well, you know.
I got to put a reminder on it.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like
An honest, stupid answer.
That is one of Chicago's curses. You know? It's there's so much beauty and wonder.
Country.
Yeah, so much beauty and wonder and talent and just, like as you put it earlier, deliciousness that comes from us. But we're only celebrated in small doses, you know, and then sometimes it's difficult for us to celebrate ourselves because sometimes this type of shit happens. You know, that literally was a celebration of a person, somebody from the hood that was making good, she's doing something with herself. You know what I'm saying? And look at this shit. But also too, mind the company you keep, and your words have power. And as Swipe God says, you cannot have one foot in the booth and one foot in the streets because that shit gonna hit you in the intersection. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Make a decision. You're either gonna be on the streets or you're gonna be in the booth.
Yeah.
Because the booth don't need what the streets is bringing.
Now, we're not saying that your bars can't contain your history. You know,
right?
That's what they're supposed to do.
MCs are supposed to report on you're as an artist, you're supposed to report on the surroundings at the time. You're a reporter. Your art is supposed to reflect the times. You can't reflect anything if you're killing everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you explain it, speaking ill of the dead is disrespectful. And you know, that's weirdo shit that we can't even really explain. But like, let's just cut that shit out. Like, don't do that. There's no other explanation. There's no other way to explain it. Stop it. Don't do that. That's not good.
We need somebody to be the adult in the situation.
Yeah.
I can't say that
like,
even more.
I don't even know what else to say. Like it's almost like we need like hip hop police, like somebody to be there. You ain't on the list. You know what I'm saying? Because people are just losing their goddamn minds.
See, the police, the hip hop police that we have, they're not for us. Do you mean we need a new
some sort of regulation?
We need some guards to come up. We need some new guards.
Something, or to be like, hey, people are listening to you. People are listening to what you're saying. Make sure you say some shit.
We need some new guards because everybody's just getting in off the fact that they can.
Yeah.
Not, just because you can don't mean you should.
Yeah. Just because you can don't mean you should. I've always loved that.
You can't, why?
I've always loved that.
Monkey do? Billy doing it, you doing it? That ain't always a good thing, especially when Billy doing some bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. And then, in terms of minding the company you keep and shit will follow you, we've had hella examples of people thinking that because they went to other neighborhoods, they traveled out a little bit farther outside, where they stirred up some shit, that it wasn't gonna follow them. And we all know that's not true. Like, the way beef is here, it will wait. It will wait.
Yeah.
It
It,
will
it will
wait.
simmer.
It will
It
simmer.
will simmer, and at just when you probably getting ready to propose to your girl, beef.
First child born.
Mm-hmm.
Little sister
Beef.
graduation.
Beef.
Cousin baby shower.
Beef.
Moved on from gang life.
Getting the train. Yep. Yes.
Moved on from gang.
Moved on from gang life and
Yes.
about to go somewhere different and start a new life.
Beef.
Just got out.
Old beef.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Old beef. Just let the
Yeah.
It's just all types of beef. Big beef. Damn beef.
Paint beef.
Paint beef, cupcake beef, just all types of stupid beef. I don't need no more. We already eat enough of it. Look how I got these guns. Beef. Just gotta have some type of laughter in this situation that we're talking about. We're trying to save lives out here on the real. It even when you leave from this show, have a discussion amongst yourselves, amongst your people, about what you can do to possibly help steer these cats in the right direction. Because ain't nobody steering them now. They renegades. And they acting off of emotions that should be so simple to solve by just letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if whoever was upset would have just let it go. There'd be 4 people alive still intact. But that didn't happen. So we got to check ourselves. We have to recheck ourselves. We have to check the people that are around us. We can make sure that everything is in check because things are out of control in the shot and it's about to spiral. And you don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. She doesn't want to be a part of it. So if any way we can help you, get at us here at the show. You want space to talk, to try to clear something up. Maybe this show can be where it's a neutral space and things can be ironed out. Maybe you don't even have that particular, option made available to you in the neighborhood that you could be stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can help in any way to help squash some of the heat that's out there, and it is a lot. And this is a network that does talk, that does music, that does sports, that does just crazy comedy things, but we are also a network filled with people who care. And we care about this city just as much as the next person. And if we can be of service, I think we all should stay in service when it comes to each other. Why not do it? Just let us know. Like and subscribe. Tell your people to tell 5 people, to tell more people, to tell more people that we are trying to change the way Chicago is seen because we don't know when it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
We don't.
We don't know. And we ain't got time to find out. We got to make some changes.
Yep. This was definitely not what I had in mind for the start of the summer.
It's not.
And I just feel like I don't want to be pessimistic, but damn.
I remember a time when we could go outside with no fear of anything. Yeah, it was gang activity, yeah, and all that, but it wasn't at the point it is today.
Yeah.
Right. You could be
Yeah.
gone for hours
Yeah.
without a phone and still
Yeah.
make it home
Yeah.
without a problem.
Yeah.
Now you have all the technology in the world, and you could be found at any given point.
At around the corner from the house,
Yeah.
or down the street from the house.
Or going running to the car to get something.
I fear for the kids. I feel for the kids because they'll never get to have
What we had, yeah.
what we had.
I think every generation says that too. That this generation doesn't have that or didn't grow up the way that we did, and we thought it was just a much better way of growing up. And we kind of find out that ours wasn't as good as it could have been either.
Yeah.
So now we have to wait for the next generation to possibly have it better.
Yeah, but it's like the way we're trending, 2 generations from now, it's gonna be Hunger Games. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to see nobody volunteer as tribute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't want y'all to be in charge of where I go in the old folks' home.
Hell
Y'all
no.
on Hunger Games shit. That means I'm prey.
Yeah.
That means who's the fastest running senior? We're gonna find that. No.
No,
No.
you know, it damn sure ain't gonna be me because I'm not the
It's
fastest
not gonna
running
be
adult.
me.
Fuck that. Like,
I will talk my way out of it. Like I will talk my way out of a paper bag.
yeah, absolutely. But yes, I, you know, everybody, let's just do our part to bring some positivity into the world. Everybody make somebody smile.
Everybody.
And just cover yourself in grace. Like every situation don't need to be reacted to. Everything don't need to be responded to. Just use your brains, people. Relax. What's up, Q?
And walk in the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
Talk in the direction you want to go. Because we can hear the report of what happened. It's up to you if you want it to continue to happen around you. So, decision is yours, this or that. What
Word.
up, you?
Absolutely.
I think we're done with this show right now.
I think we are.
We've been on a couple. We've had some technical difficulties. That's what stretched the show a little bit longer than it should have gone. But I appreciate Ange and your hunger. I have Ange. No, I'm not playing. I'm just gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's me, dead. I'm just gonna die. I'm not shooting nobody. I'm not jumping from trees. I'm not running over rocks. I'm dying, dude.
Yeah, I'm not even making it when you got to run when you got to run across the field and grab the book bag. Yeah, no.
No, I'm not doing. The bag gonna stay there. The bag, even if it got Twinkies in it, it's there. It is there. It is there. I'm pretty sure I ain't gonna have the right shoes on around anyway. So
Yeah, no. I'm probably gonna have these Crocs on.
I'm gonna have some ballerina slides. Yeah, I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. We'd like to thank everybody who showed up and stayed over and over with us here on the show, and come back with us next Saturday, because we don't know what's going to happen in Chicago to talk about, but we're going to talk about it, and we're going to try to work through it with y'all or without y'all. This is These Two Bitches. I'm Ange 13.
I am the Nash Fino. Literally, peace and blessings.
Literally.